Welcome to Superlap Scotland under blue skies here at Knockhill Racing Circuit for round 3 of the 2022 season. And with a new SLS lap record being set in the finals of round 2 on the Saturday, everyone was keen to see if it could be bettered on the Sunday. Out for qualifying, and you can see the heat haze on the cameras, particularly on the pit straight. Not quite as warm as Saturday, a cold wind blowing across from the east, so temperatures down compared to round 2. Henry Simmons in his Megane, a true road car. He drives it to the circuit for each round. And speaking of Meganes, Robert Wilkie, one of our championship sponsors, on his way to second quickest in Class E. Also second quickest, Tom Lockhart launches it down the hill in his Clio, just 0.7 of a second off the top of F class. Both kindnesses were back this weekend. Adam in the Mini, fastest in G class as we jump on board. He whaps it down into third gear as he hits the first corner, right on the edge of oversteer on the way into McIntyre's. Through Butchers and a proper touring car line at the chicane, on the way to a 102.359. David Joyce was third quickest in E in his Clio, and we also had the return of Eric Holmes and Stephen Arkley. And one of the big stories, Michael Imrie's Clio fixed after its pre-season rollover. Michael bouncing the car around to the top of F class with a 1 minute .517 second lap. The Osbornes were back in their private C class battle once again. Senior driving really well this weekend and pushing Junior really hard, just 0.1 of a second behind him at qualifying. Nev Wood was part of the three-way fight for the Pro Class win. Sean Robertson was fourth quickest in E-Class in his Mini. Big bounce over the second curb at the chicane, probably using more than Adam Kindness was in his fast lap. Another chunk of curb taken at Clark's. Speaking of E-Class, Donnie Macleod was fastest with a 58.456. The Renault's certainly working well in qualifying, with the top 3 in E-Class and the top 2 in F, all coming from the French manufacturer. Eric Holmes bounces his way through Butchers, the Evo third quickest in Pro, just 0.2 of a second away from Nev Wood's Atom. Number 823, a newcomer to SLS, Andrew Baird in his Civic, his daily driver, second fastest in D-Class, just behind this man, Alex Milne, 59.353, as you see him leaning on the car through the first corner, and that Audi looks like a big car to hustle round Knockhill. C-Class, as we mentioned, very close between the Osborne Evos. Junior just 0.1 of a second quicker than his dad with a 55.253. Henry Simmons was exploring the limits at the hairpin. And B-Class was a three-way between Fiona Kindness, Stephen Arkley and this man, Andy Clotworthy, 55.239, just 0.4 of a second up on Fiona, with the Westfield just behind that. That'll be a battle to watch in the finals. Craig Nicholls' Vauxhall-powered Caterham, one of the best sounding cars in SLS, at least in my opinion, the sole A-Class representative, setting a 52.615 second lap and using every inch of the circuit the whole way round. Nev Wood's splitter was throwing the sparks on the way into the hairpin, but try as he might, he couldn't beat this man, Paul Rankin. The Westfield looking super planted on its way to a 50.559. And Paul looking very comfortable in the car. But unsurprisingly topping the qualifying standings, fresh from a lap record performance in the Saturday finals, Andy Forrest's beast of a Westfield setting a 45.689 second lap time. Was well into superbike territory while having to deal with traffic, and many people thought another lap record could be on the cards in the finals. And then it was time for the finals, and first out it was Adam Kindness in the race spec Mini, a 1:01.870. Down into McIntyre's, lifting an inside wheel and nibbling at the kerb. Jump on board, kerb on the left, kerb on the right, and onto the back straight. Into Clark's, a little wide of the kerb, but keeps the momentum up. And into the hairpin, as late as he dares on the brakes, but does get it stopped. Up the hill, and he just buzzes the rev limiter on the gear change, and you can see him annoyed at himself as he accelerates across the line. F-Class, and it was pole sitter Michael Emery immediately in trouble. All looking good at the start of the lap, but pulling off into the tri-oval. A poor reward after getting the car sorted after its rollover. Andrew Fahey, a 1:05.546. The car looking a bit of a duct tape special, but making it round to third in class. 0.4 of a second up the road, Martin Hutton in the wee 106, bouncing it across the exit of the chicane. But fastest, Tom Lockhart capitalising on Emery's issues and setting a 1:02.092. Tom keeping everything neat, tidy and mistake-free, and taking the class win by 3 seconds. E-Class, and straight into the drama with Stephen Sadler, sideways down the hill and across the newly christened McRae's Corner onto the Rallycross circuit. In the replay, just too fast into the first corner, bounced off the kerb and away she goes. Very lucky not to do any damage across the Rallycross track. Henry Simmons set a 1:01.157 in his Megane, just behind the man chasing him on circuit, Sean Robertson, managing a 1:04.15 in his Mini Cooper. .6 of a second ahead, David Joyce came third in a trio of Renaults with a 59.818, just 0.7 behind Donnie Macleod, fastest in qualifying but second in the final shootout by only 0.1 of a second from the man in front of him on track, Robert Wilkie. The Strathearn Pest Control man managed a 59.017, using all the kerbs in a committed drive.
What is the time going to be? It's a 59.8. David Joyce goes to the top. So David Joyce in the Strathearn Pest Control is ready.
D-Class and Alex Milne continued to ask a lot of the Audi's tyres in turn 1, and this time it would bite him. Alex managing a 1:01.9 59.467. You can see probably a couple of miles per hour too fast into turn 1, and the tyres just can't hold on. And that would leave Andrew Baird on his debut SLS weekend in his road car to take the D-Class win with a 59.461 and a very neat and controlled lap.
The Red Bull pace setter, if you will. How was the lap out there? A 59.0 for you. Doing one to over that hill, but kind of just getting on the road.
Where are you putting these cars?
Congratulations and good luck for the rest of the season. The cans just over.
Into the C-Class final, and Michael Osborne Sr. would take second with a 56.379 second lap. And that was 1.1 seconds down on Junior's 55.248. Another Class win for the Evo 6 pilot.
Osborne family feud here. Osborne Jr. in the Evo 6.
B-Class final, and another top qualifier in trouble. Andy Clockworthy's Impreza clearly not running 100%. He nursed it around to a 1 minute 15.958. And that would leave Stephen Arkley to take second in the class in his Westfield with a 57.580.
As part of that.
But taking the class win, Fiona Kindness setting a 54.999, jumping into the Impreza's backseat as she dives down the hill. Sounded like a tiny lock-up heading into McIntyre's, but all okay. A lot of curb on the left part of the chicane and on the power all the way to Clark's. No down change into Clark's, just using the torque of the engine. Into the hairpin neatly, and on the power all the way to the flag. Straight into the sole A-Class runner, Craig Nicholl setting a 53.629 second lap. Every inch of Knockhill being used to set the lap time that would be right on the pace of the Pro Class cars. And speaking of the Pro Class cars, Nev Wood was set a 54.830 lap. A big slide out of Clark's, costing a bit of time and leaving the Atom just half a second behind Eric Holmes' Evo. Both drivers beaten by the Westfield of Paul Rankin. Paul continuing where he left off in qualifying with another clean lap, setting a 49.836. And finally, Andy Forrest, and the big question was, could he beat his own lap record? The lap looked neat and tidy, and he managed a 46.127, less than 2 tenths shy of the 45.966 he managed on Saturday.